It is super risky for sure. But you know, like there is an illusion because when you leverage algo to algo or algo to G algo, you kind of feel safe, but it's not because the token is not really pegged one to one. Like it will be very difficult to run for the good price for G algo when you need to buy them back. So it can be very risky.
Yeah, like I said below, it's only risky like if you're leveraging right now with G algo, like you're doing it wrong. I'm just being honest. You're not doing it right because like you said, you're losing too much on the slippage. But I mean, people are going to kind of do what they want, and like I said, when it gets later and they're able to develop their liquidity better, like it's going to be,
Yeah,
that's not going to be
you
a
guys are too
problem.
advanced traders for me. I like to hold my coin.
Yeah, I studied the case and I just said, okay, I will just use governance the old way. I will not touch this.
What I'm currently doing right now is like I'm providing algo and then I'm borrowing some algo from AlgoFi and then I'm just using that to play in the liquidity pool. Um, so I mean, like I don't really feel like I'm going to lose too hard from that, or like I'd say lose big. I'm also not leveraging to a point where I'm like in a how you say an uncomfortable position. But yeah, I would love to like educate people like don't go over like 50%, or even 50% is pretty risky. Like 30% if you're like new to using any leverage or taking on any risk with your bag, to be honest. But I don't know. Everyone has like a different metric of how you say measuring risk on their platform, from what I noticed. And I feel like there should be more of a universal thing as well.
Yeah, I would love to hear someone. Is anybody from the audience having a good strategy in mind? Like that seems like interesting, etc. Anybody in the audience? I would love to hear someone. Because
I feel like why doesn't someone just, instead of supplying algo on the platform and taking out G algo, just buy G algo on a DEX and supply it, because you're automatically going to make money off of that. Like you'll automatically make an arbitrage if you buy the G algo and then supply it back onto their platform, because it's supposed to be worth one algo even though it's cheaper.
I'm not sure if you can burn G algo if you didn't supply algo. I'm not sure about that.
To be honest, I was going to dive into folks finance later today. I'm just thinking theoretically. I mean, it's always interesting to try to take advantage of an arbitrage opportunity, especially if it's arbitrage on algo. Like that's definitely something, because you could buy stable for like 95, 94 cents at times, and then repay your position on AlgoFi, and it's worth $1 on AlgoFi. So you basically just got a 5% discount on your dollars. And like if you do that a bunch of times, it adds up to like either a lot of savings or a lot of gains, depending on how you play it.
So no one wants to speak about it.
I was just going to say that the method on guard where you over leverage your position. I mean, really, we should be talking about that as if it is leveraging your position. And people talk about, if you're on if you're an advanced trader and you're on, a centralized exchange someplace else on Ethereum or what have you, there's a lot of warnings there. And you see a lot of people get liquidated. And there's a lot of like flashing signs that like, hey, if you're not professional, like don't do this. And even the professionals have systems in place. They have stoppers to mitigate some losses. And I do have a fear, I think what Chris is talking about, a fear that if somebody is, cycling through guard, that system 5 times or 6 times over leveraging themselves, it will be hard to protect themselves, to unwind that. If there is a dip in Algorand's price, who knows if there is, but 30 days, you're guaranteeing like, hey, I'm going to lock this up and be committed to that for 30 days. A lot can happen. Who knows what? Hopefully it's good things with, Earth Day announcements and, some news coming out, but I don't have a crystal ball. So I do have some hesitation, some fear about that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing like 8x leverage, like 5% and you're broke. Like that's it. Like 5% down, and like you're literally eating spam and ramen for the next 6 months. So yeah, there needs to be some. I plan on making more educational material on my channel about it. But like you said, there should be some how you say disclaimer before people are doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I wouldn't risk anything for an upside of potentially 5%. I mean, I guess I'm old school. I'll just do old school governance.
Xbacked is in the house. How are you doing? Can you join the conversation to help us about it, please?
Is this Gail or Austin today?
Hey, it's Gal. How's it going?
How are you doing?
Welcome.
Yeah, pretty good. It's like 3 a.m. here, just grinding out.
You haven't launched, right? You are still on testnet. I checked, I think, yesterday.
Yeah, we're getting like double audited right now, so
Awesome.
going through that right now.
Could you tell us like a scenario that wouldn't be stupid? If you had like, let's say 1,000 algos, could you tell us like a non-stupid scenario to play with the committed algos?
So I think in terms of using it into vaults, basically the whole idea is that you can put it into a vault and you can deposit XUSD. So you don't have to sell your algos, and then you can utilize it in the ecosystem. And we go up as low as a 120% collateral ratio.
So can you expand on the difference between Xbacked and AlgoFi services?
Yeah, so the main ones I'd say are the utility. The other one is the staking mechanisms. So one, you can stake which will be more towards the TGE, which will be in Q3. So that'll be the governance token, which you can stake, and you can generate, by staking that, you can generate 80% of the protocol's revenue through liquidations and all the fee generation that comes from that. And there's this new feature that we're going to implement where you can actually stake your XUSD. And if you're not a technical expert, in running bots for liquidations, so basically, regular passive investors can stake their XUSD and generate a yield from the discounted collateral that's liquidated from the protocol's liquidators.
Wow.
So there's different ways for people to get participated in the DAO.
Wow. So the community benefits from all the liquidators bots, right? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Awesome. I didn't know that. Sounds awesome. When are you going live?
So yeah, towards the end of Q2, that's when you should expect mainnet.
Wow.
And that will have Algo, GoETH, and GoBTC as a good start.
Going all in on Xback, fam.
Yeah, but I think this is the first time I spoke to you, Val, so it's good to meet you finally.
Yeah, I heard a lot about you, like so many good things about what you're building, and it's very exciting. That's what I wanted to hear from you. Hi, GT, how are you doing? I look your channel, your YouTube channel. It's great with the sea wheel. That's kind of cool. How are you doing? Can you speak? No, maybe he can.
Maybe he's muted. He just got off he filled in for Cooper for me today with the coffee with Crypto and Coop show.
Oh, cool.
He held it down. He did a phenomenal job. So thanks for stepping in for Coop.
Yeah, the coffee, I like it. I like this show that you're running on Sunday. It's pretty nice. Yeah. What other subject do we have? Like, is everybody scared to commit in DeFi, etc., like me, or is there anybody courageous right in the audience or here?
I feel like I'm all in on the DeFi. Like, I would rather use one of the folks guard or AlgoFi options for governance than governance portal. Simply because I'm willing to take the risk for the extra bit of yield and just the optionality that the platforms give you. You know, if there's an opportunity somewhere within the 3 months and you need to borrow, that's like really valuable to be able to do. In my opinion, because I'm more on the degen side of things than, you know, always just buying and hodling. But I want to ask you guys, do you think that 3 months per governance period is too long to wait for quarterly rewards? Like, are these rewards given out too infrequently? Should they be daily, weekly? I've heard some chatter about that in the past week, and I want to open that up to anyone who wants to answer it.
No, I honestly think things are good the way they are. If we did do that, then we'd probably have to have more frequent votes, which could lead to some whale manipulation. Like if there's like a vote coming close and we didn't have to lock up our algo, for instance, and, you know, it just gets sit in our wallet and we could vote. And if like a vote was coming up and like this whale's like, all right, I want this. This is going to benefit me, but it doesn't really benefit the rest of the community. This whale could literally buy up all the algo, you know, outvote us, and then just have a quick exit out. I think the lockup periods are very necessary for a voting governance token, in my opinion. It just keeps the people that actually want to vote, and keeps the people that want to be liquid, you know. And I feel like it's just a good model for a token, in my opinion.
All right, so let's talk about this real quick. Everybody here likes to make money, right? Obviously. And this is why everyone's like, ooh, I want my governance token to be liquid so I can use that to algo in DeFi and make more money. But I also want to actually make money for governance. But doesn't it defeat the purpose of the staking if the actual vote was liquid?
Good point. Yeah, kind of.
I don't see it defeating the purpose of the staking, because the votes still happen, and if you default on your position, you drop out of governance. Like, the system's still just as fair, right?
How so? I mean, because things like, by having a liquid position, you have the ability to, you know, lend it or leverage it, or, like, you know, all of these things. And if it's liquid, all you need is actually the money back. Yeah, I don't know if it makes sense. It just doesn't, like, the whole point of being able to actually vote with your algo is that you're locking your algo in, and saying this is my vote. This is what I believe, and this is the period that I lock in for, and the reward of that is the actual governance, the governance reward. I mean, it makes sense if there was no reward, or if you just chose to rather, you know, use DeFi instead of governance. But I don't understand, like, double dipping.
Yeah, it's like we went one way and came back. Like, we locked the algos in governance for these DAO votes, and then we unlock it with all these protocols, these projects. And yeah, it's kind of like a one step forward, one step backward, a little bit. And there is, like, the commitment is not as hard as before. I get your point, Chris. Yeah, but they need, I guess algorithms, again, they need the TVL to look better for the community and for the token. Like, there are so many things. What do you think?
I'm gonna push back on this, because if you use any of the liquid staking options, it's not like it's just free money. Like the only way you're actually getting additional yield with no additional risk is just by borrowing and using those platforms. And the way that they can provide you with additional yield is through the Aeneas rewards that most of them have gotten. So they're basically getting like, they got a big airdrop from the foundation. And if you use those platforms, they will give you a higher amount of yield, which will incentivize DeFi adoption, et cetera, et cetera. Then if you actually go and take risk upon yourself, those algos that you committed to governance are technically still in governance. Like you're not using the algos, you're using a G algo, or you're using guard, or you're using some different form of collateral that you borrow on AlgoFi. So those algos are still in the pool. And I believe that billions of algo, that's just too valuable to be locked up for most quarters of the year and just like stagnant. I mean, that's essentially like a big bank vault, that no one really uses. And that's
they don't have to. They don't have to vote. They don't have to govern. I mean, if they want to actually chase the profits, you can chase the profits. But like, if you vote and you vote, like, I mean, I think it was Cody that just said that you could be a whale, buy a bunch of algos, vote, get your G algos out, and then dump your G algos before the voting's over. Then how is that like staking? Like you're already in and out, and you've completely. You voted incorrectly or voted in a certain way.
If you dump your G algos, then you won't be able to pay back your position.
I mean, but you dumped your G algos. So you already sold your G algos and you got the return for it.
The G algos are only, you can either buy them on the DEX or you mint them against your algos, right? So if you dump your G algos and you've minted a position, you won't be able to pay your original position back. So you'd have to rely on the price of algo to go up. And if it doesn't go up, then you're going to lose your money. So that's the risk.
If you sold your G algos, you got something for them, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, you're out of your position because you sold your G algos. Then you got your return for it.
I get where you're coming from, this, Chris.
I'm not following you, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, Chris, how is this? I mean, it's no different than you using your house as collateral and taking equity on your home.
Yeah, you live in your house though.
Right, but you're saying that people should lock up their algo, not be able to use it for the privilege of being able to vote. So I could say, conversely, you live in your house, the privilege is of you living in the house and be able to use the equity. So I don't quite get the view that algo should be untouchable, because it's there's still a risk. I mean, if you're using it as collateral, there is liquidation risk, which would also impact the governance.
Like your house doesn't give you a vote. So like my point here is like you have the ability.
You a roof to live under.
Sure, but they're complete. There's apples, oranges. Like you have the ability.
It's collateral that you're using. I don't really see it that differently.
Chris, don't you agree that Humble stands to benefit from liquid staking by the amount of TVL that can be unlocked and possibly be used on Humble?
Sorry, my daughter came in here and started asking me. What was the question?
I said, don't you agree, or wouldn't you agree that Humble and all of the Reach products stand to benefit from unlocking governance, because that's a huge amount of liquidity that can potentially hit the platforms that you are involved in building? So isn't it a benefit to you for this system to exist? Whereas if it didn't exist, none of those billions of algos would even be able to touch Humble or Monarch or anything else you're building?
So one of the values of Reach is integrity, doing the right thing even when it's wrong or when it's hard. And the why I'm speaking up, of course, more TVL into the DeFi system works, but the whole economic system that was actually developed around this was that the staking of the assets were locked, so that you were locked into your decision. And if you have the ability to vote and then make money from, or like then dump your position before the next 3 months, why lock it all? Why not make just governance anybody can vote anytime for whatever they owe?
Okay, then why do you think the Algorand Foundation is supporting liquid staking when they're the ones who created this governance system?
That's a great question.
They clearly see
Oyster,
value in it.
Oyster, you want to raise your hand?
Yeah, yeah. I just want to chime in, and I just want to say, yeah, I totally support DeFi supporting the governance. Number one, it's you as an individual decide, right? No, it's if you don't want to participate because of your morals and values, if it conflicts with your personal, sorry, I was just working out again as usual. If it conflicts with your personal values, don't participate in the DeFi protocol's governance. Use the governance portal. And in terms of the G algo, maybe again, and a lot of these protocols, people don't read the docs, right? The G algo, just to comment on what you said, Chris. If you vote and you saw your G algo, number one, it's the same thing like today. You vote and your governance portal, you put your algo out, you just lose your governance rewards. There's no difference, right? You're not locked. It's not like there's a slashing penalty. It's the same difference. Swap, and I want to just comment this real quick in the earlier the topic of swapping the DEX G algo to algo. Don't do it. I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, it allows you to do it. Again, it's a free open system. But again, foolish to do it, right? Because it's not swapping G algo for algo. Now, it's not what it's meant to be used for, right? You can always mint new G algo, and you can always redeem G algo, right? You can always redeem G algo, even if you didn't commit during the governance period, right? You can only claim your rewards with G algo, but if you let's say you bought Go BTC. Let's say there was a Go BTC G algo pool, and you swap your G algo for Go BTC, and then you want to claim your rewards. You can just mint new algo, or so you Go BTC back to G algo or whatever. But we shouldn't be using. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. You can. I'm saying you shouldn't be able to be foolish to swap G algo for algo. That's not what it's meant to be used for. So it's just understanding how to, just like your any technology, any platform, any video game. It's knowing how to play the game and knowing the rules. If you don't, you lose. You know. So that's it. That's my 2 cents.
Cody, you had something?
Yeah, I just want to say I can understand how you say both aspects from both sides here. Like I understand, like, you know, we want to increase TVL. There could be some liquidity issues if too much algo is locked up and not enough going through DeFi. Like I understand all that, but I understand where Chris is coming from because there's also other things we got to worry about. One, how are these platforms going to recognize our XGov status if we're constantly loaded into their contracts? If anything, we'll end up giving our XGov status to the people get all of our governance. So, like I said, I see it both sides.
It depends how XGov is implemented, which Chris is working on. But let's say if there was a mutual exclusion, and if you want to be an ex-governor, if you want to participate in ex-governor, and there was a choice between, okay, if you want to participate in the ex-governor's platform, that means you can't participate in DeFi, and that's a choice you have. That's a choice you have to weigh and do what's best for you, right?
Thank you, Cody. I had the exact same question. To become an ex-governor, do we have to show and to prove that we have been governors before, or will it start on a certain day to be counted? What do you think, Chris? Do you think it will go backwards or just in the future?
That I'm going to go back to what I was saying earlier, just to be very clear. If we have the ability for our staking to be liquid, what's the point of it being staked in the first place? The whole thing here is the why everybody loves this is because number one, it's more money, and number two, it looks nicer on actually a table when it looks at how much TVL is actually in the system. And the truth is that that's the whole point of the original governance is because staking made it so that you stake and then it locked those tokens in. If we don't like that, let's not pretend, and then let's address the actual staking of it in the first place, rather than I'll still stake and then make that stake liquid so that we can still make more money. And I just don't want greed to break a governance system if the original plan for the governance system was the staking.
Yeah, totally agree. Benedetto, can we have your view on that subject about like the governance commitment against TVL?
Hello, guys. Good Sunday to everyone.
Hello, my friend.
I'm going to charge my phone because it's 1%, so hopefully I'm not going to lose you. Sorry for that if happen. I agree partially with Chris. He knows we share some common view. Like if the purpose of the governance was just the votes and the power, that's like the maintaining the commitment. It could have been done in other ways. Let's say this. But we have it. We are here. So I think we should leverage it since we have it. So in all the other ecosystem, like you can go and check Lido protocol if for those who doesn't know it. It's 18 billion liquid assets. They leverage all the staking over the other chain for building liquid staking. And it's a pretty huge amount of assets that is moving around. So since we have that, and we have 3 billion, that's not bad. And it's being committed there, not moving, not making volumes daily. That's not good. And what we saw from the past rewards distribution, just people earning rewards and then selling, this is not good as well, in my opinion. So the liquid staking, like the liquid algo options, like the liquid governance option that we have around, are still good to change this, because right now this is not good, in my opinion. So whatever you are using as AlgoFi guard, you are still committing to give TVL and liquidity to the protocols, to it's movement of money. Movement of money creates revenue, creates financial dynamics that increase the value of algo itself. In the end, I'm not saying someone is better than the other, but in our opinion, to make the liquid algo is that you can really help any other protocol to use it. And you were talking before, use it for trading or not. In my opinion, as we can see in other ecosystem, liquid assets, they should be tradable. You should have dynamics in the ecosystem to make it tradable. So guys, DeFi, at least so far, it's just arbitrage. We are all here to take rewards. We are all here to make the better strategy and whatever it is. So why should be against this? So if I am going to move it in tiny man, packed, humble, like what's the bad side? At least at the end of the day, I can always go back. I'm talking about us right now in Fox Finance, in the Algo Liquid Governance, and take back my rewards. So if meanwhile I did some movements and create revenue, why not?
Yeah, I get it. Sorry, Chris.
So I mean, hey Benedetto, we just spent the week together, so hey.
Yeah.
But what my main point is here is that guard folks, AlgoFi, it feels like this is a band-aid rather than addressing the actual root issue, because it's like we're saying, oh, we need to make this voting, the staked vote liquid. So let's go ahead and build a workaround to make that liquid, rather than addressing the question, do we want this actually, what was the point of staking this in the first place? If there is no value in the staking, why are we staking anymore? Let's readdress how the governance is done so it frees up those extra algos. That's my point.
No, I agree with you on this, really. Like, but we have it right now. We could make it better, I agree, but at the moment there is. And it is a problem because it's algo not moving.
Yeah.
Isn't part of the issue just that the governance lock, places like DeFi Llama would not treat that as TVL? I don't understand why not, but I mean, I think that's part of what is driving a lot of it. Is
I mean,
the thing is the governance is, you say, oh, governance should be liquid. That doesn't make any sense. Governance is liquid. You can spend it at any time. It's not locked. But
there is no velocity. I think the velocity of the algo around the ecosystem makes the value grow of the algo, and I think that's the point of Benedetto.
Yeah.
But we need the algo to rotate across all platforms to increase the value when
right.
it's
but I mean,
committed.
that's the thing is that's part of the issue is
there's
multiple things, right? Is lots of people want to see the TVL metrics be a lot higher for Algorand because they're ridiculously low, even though there's a lot of stuff out there that's not being counted. Governance should count in some way, but like Algorand's governance isn't really locked. Like, you can move it at any time, you just don't get the rewards, but you're not penalized. And you could say you're penalized depending on when you poll, your vote not counting, right? But then we can argue about how significant the votes are anyway. But the fact that, for the most part, people are putting algo in there and then it just sits there and rots, right? And there's all this stuff going on in the ecosystem that the small number of holders that we have all their money just in governance and aren't doing anything with it. So then that also is negative for the ecosystem. So it just seems like if we're kind of able to get, use that, get a collateralized position, have that be, I guess, kind of more liquid, even though, like I said, the original governance was liquid and still is, and have that be counted as TVL and get people to start using that in the ecosystem, it seems kind of like a win-win.
I mean, but it's not. Like, the whole point of the whole staking is because it was supposed to, as you said, rot. Is that, like, you need to actually lock in your vote or your vote doesn't count. And
yeah, but it's not truly locked though. You can spin it at will. So I mean, like, I guess parse that out, like why you think that's truly a lock with just regular governance.
So my point is like the current system here, the current liquidity or liquid reward system is allowing, like, is, having your cake and eating it too. It's voting and then getting the liquidity so that you can actually spend that liquidity and do whatever you want with it. And then at the end, you can then return it and get your money back. And then, but the whole thing is like, that's a workaround for what the initial intention was. Or as far as I understand, or as it was explained to me. My point is, like, if the whole point of it was not to make it, as you said, rot, then let's not make it do that anymore. Let's rethink of how governance should work so that the algo can be freed up, rather than building a workaround or a solution that it just feels like it's clunky.
But this does seem kind of like this is that kind of solution, right? You're still able to vote, have it delegated, and get collateral against it. So it does seem kind of like, adapt solution to the issue.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, it's a workaround to the whole point of it. Is that the idea was that you are actually staking it and you are actually gaining rewards on it for your vote, and it should be an option where you don't have to actually vote. You can do whatever you want with it, rather than just like, I would rather see us rethink how governance should be, and go back to the old reward system where every algo got a little bit. That way you can do whatever you want with your algo and still vote. My point is what is the whole point of the governance system? Why do we stake it? What is the value of staking it? And understanding that, because it feels like the current liquid voting system is a workaround to its original intentions.
Does this tie into your proposal to redo the governance system yourself?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Ibu?
Yeah, I mean, but I still don't see these liquid staking options as just a net positive. They have drawdowns. They have risk associated with it. It's a feature, not a bug. It's an add-on. You can take the safe option in the governance portal and you will have zero risk of losing your algo. But if you mint G algo or you borrow against your position with Guard or something else, then you go and ape into some new NFT series and hope it goes to the moon in the next 3 months, but it doesn't. Now you're SOL, and you need to either market buy more algo to cover your position or find some other way to get your money back, because you'll just be paying interest on that for eternity. So these aren't like risk-free strategies, Chris. That's where I disagree with you. If you are using liquid staking, then you're taking on another layer of risk. Yes, you can spend your stuff, but it's not just like spending.
Oyster?
So the original governance, the way the way the Algorand Foundation implemented it, did create the problem of locked. It locks that algo, right? Locks that capital up. I should say it tremendously reduces the velocity of that money, right? And what I'm seeing here is the ecosystem, the projects are innovating. So I think this is a great thing. The problem has been identified by the market. The projects are innovating solutions, right? Each one is a different solution. There's no central solution. And if you don't like any of those solutions, you can stick with the original portal, governance portal. So I don't see what is the problem.
Oyster. You're saying that it's great that people are innovating. I agree 100%. My pushback is that they're innovating away or around a purposeful thing, when in reality the correct question is like, why is that innovation happening? And should that innovation be happening when we could just fix the actual root cause? And if we fix the root cause, then we wouldn't need any of the workarounds anymore.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is I totally disagree with your problem statement. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I disagree with your problem statement.
What's my problem statement?
That this is conflicting against the initial core values of governance and staking, right? And I'm saying is your view of that I disagree with.
So you're saying that to me that there is no point of staking in governance?
No. What I'm saying is there was. You're imposing in your mind, which is okay. That's your opinion, right? That the way you perceive governance is that the governance should be pure, and it should be you stake, and you should and lock your algo. Just
no. What I'm saying is that what it is that the current governance requires staking. If the current governance doesn't require staking, then let's address the actual governance. And what the workaround is, we can say that no, we do need a stake. Then the workaround is actually it's breaking the actual economic system. So my point is that I'm not saying that
this is where we fundamentally disagree.
You can't disagree with me because I'm not taking a stance.
Yeah, I think the stance of Chris is not that that he wants to keep it pure or anything. Is that the whole system is inelegant? Like we go to make two layers of complexity instead of designing it better.
Right.
I think it's more a design problem. That is it right, Chris? Is it what you mean?
Well, yeah. Hold on, Bilal. But if we hear
Sorry.
everyone speaking, Chris is in the minority here. The majority of folks on this call that I hear speaking have a difference of opinion with Chris. I know Chris is very influential, so people like you, for example, follow his viewpoint. But he's in the minority here.
But he doesn't have really a viewpoint. He's just saying that
It
it's
is about a
very
viewpoint.
complex.
Barney has a very strong viewpoint. He made a viewpoint very clear. So to say he doesn't have a viewpoint isn't true.
No, it is a valid viewpoint, but but the point is, it's not the majority. I'm not here to the majority viewpoint. Matter of fact, this is the first time I ever heard this.
I have no viewpoint. I'm here to learn. So you guys keep going.
Oh, that's great. That's great. But I'm all for having alternative viewpoints. But we have to.
But Oyster, can I ask you a question? Like, do you think it is better to have like an elegant, not like over complexify governance, or is it better to have?
Who's stopping? If Chris wants to build it, who's stopping him from building it? If Chris,
all right, but
Chris can.
But just because Chris is also, I just want to argue with your little viewpoint here earlier about him being a minority. Just because he's the minority doesn't mean he's wrong.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
But Michael Burry was a minority in 2007, 2008 until he was right, so.
Right. But what I'm saying is, if someone can come up with an elegant, better governance platform, go for it.
All right, Oscar. And I guess, I don't know, you say I'm in a minority. My main point is not that the current system is right, my main point is that if the current system is right, then the way that governance is done is wrong. Like, that's my main point. Or like because the thing is, like, we should just fix the base thing if we don't like staking.
Right, but what I'm hearing is you basically said every other protocol that implemented governance, liquid staking, is a band-aid, right? I mean, this is what you said, and it's a negative. I mean, based on what my perception of.
When did I say it's a negative? I'm saying that it's a.
I'm perceiving what you're saying is that what the other protocols are doing is a band-aid, and it goes against the original mission. The initial vision of governance, right? That's my perception. That's the way I interpret it.
So a workaround or a band-aid is when you don't address the root problem. What everybody's doing, what Benedito's doing, what AlgoFi is doing, what Guard's doing is the right thing. But what I'm saying is that if that is the right thing, then the root problem should be addressed rather than a surface level issue like fix.
I still don't see what the real problem is. I mean, this is where I don't see where there's a problem. This is where if we take it back, what is the real problem?
Oyster, can I give you my view on another way of explaining what is Chris' idea? So. The governance is giving up 70 million algo for this voting system. Okay, imagine they give 70 million algo to incentivize DeFi to these three projects that they are doing it. Do you think we wouldn't get the same TVL? Just talking about TVL.
Sorry, what? Can you repeat that?
So, how much are the rewards? 70 million, right? Algo.
70, yes, for the governance rewards. Right?
Yes. So if, let's suppose we have another type of governance that works without staking, that the people participate even not earning rewards in an easier way, and you want to increase TVL, you take this 70 million algo, you incentivize DeFi, and the solution you have the same.
Okay, I have no problem with that. That's a different implementation of governance.
That's what Chris is saying. That if the whole system has some root problem, Chris is saying just let's try to change this.
Yeah, but what the solution you just described takes away staking, right? Eliminate staking. We go back to some kind. I don't know. I mean, again, it's a completely different design, right? The design today is
Yeah,
you have to stake your algo into governance.
we are talking like philosophically speaking right now, not about technicism and so on, but like I
Yeah.
agree with this. And if you think on something, okay, all the other liquid staking around the chains, it's because you need to stake, for example, your Sol, your Ether for participating to the consensus, and this creates a problem that you lose the liquidity for participating to the consensus. Okay, in Algorand we don't have this problem like they have, let's say. So we wouldn't need the liquid staking for this. But since we have the governance, we do the liquid staking for the governance. But if the governance wouldn't be like this, we wouldn't have. That's my view.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is the idea is to an alternative governance program is one to have. Today we have staking, and basically what Chris is saying, just so that see if I understand, what Chris really, and correct me if I'm interpreting what you're saying, Chris. What I'm interpreting now, based the way Benito described, is the protocols today take away some of that locking value of staking, that commitment, right? So basically, like for example, today, as you need to have a higher level of commitment, right, to stake your governance before the protocols implement the governance support, right? Because if you moved it out, you lose your governance rewards.
Yeah.
Whereas today, you stake it, so you can have a little. People might now have more incentive to stake more through the protocols because they have access. They have some access to that capital, right? While it's still staked in governance, right? And the question, the problem, the question there is, do we really then need staking?
Exactly.
How
Thank
much?
you, Benito.
All right, so let's say we go back to a system in which all algo get rewarded almost every day or whenever they compound, like we had before governance. Then how do you integrate a vote? Because then people could just buy algo for the vote and then sell. So then you have to put a time limit of holding the algo that you have to have either committed it or held it from a certain point to vote. And then and then you have to make sure that account also doesn't dump the algo after they vote. So it brings us back to where we are right now, which is the committing period of 3 months.
Yeah. And how do you distinguish XGov from usual governance?
So, Ivo, to actually kind of address what you're saying there is that I could actually build a smart contract right now, today, that would be a one-to-one peg of an algo, and all it does is it actually makes my algo liquid, and it allows me to actually lock in my vote, and then I can trade that liquid value. And anybody with that one-to-one governance algo could actually redeem it for algo. So it would be a one-to-one peg, and it would remove all of the actual staking requirements, and it would then make it a liquid, government algo, and it wouldn't require any leverage or any downside, and you could get all upside. So my point is there is a way today to completely bypass staking, and that is what it sounds like people are asking for, and that is what it sounds like the Algorand Foundation is actually wanting, because they want more TVL in the system. So my whole point is if it's completely possible to bypass the staking, and looks like people want it, why don't we address the staking in the first place and change what the actual governance system is? And I don't actually know the best solution for the correct way to do governance. But my point is, like, the current one is it's governance theater or staking theater at this point. So that's my main point.
It's a fake commitment. Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't go as far as fake commitment. It's there's trade-offs, because the trade-off of being able to access your capital just is the you're taking on the
you take risk.
added risk of the DeFi protocols, and also
Yeah.
be if you over leverage yourself, it's almost like you're getting slashed on top of losing your.
Yeah, it's risky. Yeah, we take another risk. But that's the question of Benedetto. Do we value TVL and velocity, or do we value commitment to the governance? That's a pretty philosophical question, actually.
I mean, at this point in time, we need to increase the velocity, in my opinion. I mean,
I agree. Yeah, that's why all this work has been done by so many teams to give some life to those dead algos, basically.
I think 4 or 5 months ago, 6 months ago, I guess maybe at this time, there's a bunch of us armchair economists who were thinking, okay, all of this is going to get locked up. There's going to be supply issues. There's still going to be demand. And so the price of algo is going to go through the roof. And we were really hopeful of that. And there was a lot of speculation that was going to happen, but it didn't happen through a couple phases of governance. And so now there may also be something. What if the foundation, for legal reasons or what have you, made a strategic decision to change the way that they distribute algos via the staking mechanism? There might be an aspect of that as well that happens sort of on the backside, with various government regulations that make this more palatable. And I'm more than willing to give it a try, because clearly having all of it staked up didn't impact the price that we thought it might. And so if the foundation's goal wasn't really to reduce the TVL, but they had to do this for some strategic reasons behind the scenes, then these third-party services satisfy that use case of getting that TVL back out into the public, even though there is some risk with that. But it opens up opportunity for folks like AlgoFi and folks in Guard to make a little bit of a living, off of those activities as well. So it spurs the economy even more. Just two thoughts I put out there. I'm not sure if either one of them is viable, but could be.
GT, please.
Yeah, how's it going, everyone? I just wanted to pair on to what Monty was saying. To have a supply shock, you have to have two things, which is demand and an illiquid supply. And we've been lacking on the demand a little bit, but we also never had a truly illiquid supply. So I think that's part of the reason why we never saw that price increase a lot of us theorized about, because there isn't actually a lock. You're just holding your tokens in your wallet. And as you see throughout the governance period, a lot of people drop out. So people are still freely selling if they choose to. So I mean, just to add to that point, I think everyone's points on governance alone is very interesting. I think I side with more of like Patrick and Benedetto a little bit, but it's been a very interesting conversation. But just to the point on the supply shock, I do think that really just comes down to the fact that it's never actually been truly locked. And some of these applications actually give you the ability to participate in governance and add to the TVL of the network without taking on leverage. I mean, you can vault your algo at AlgoFi, you can mint a G algo on Folks Finance, you can start a CDP on AlgoGuard and never take out leverage and still be adding to the TVL and still be participating in governance. So there's a lot of workarounds currently. I mean, it would be really interesting to see how it unfolds in the months to come. I mean, who knows?
Good point. And we don't really know how much of the supply went, how the supply was distributed. I think I saw a tweet about the added supply this last 6 months. I don't know if somebody knows more than me about this point.
Yeah, it is certainly the case that there's the influx in supply is outpacing demand in this current market. So that's part of the reason why you can see, if you look up, I mean, I know this isn't a price conversation, but if you look up the data between the market cap and the price of the token, there's a huge deviation at a certain point. Like at one point, they were tracking each other almost perfectly. And over the last 6 months to a year or so, there's been a huge deviation as the market cap grows, but the price is kind of, doing the opposite.
It always brings me back to the question of should we have voted for option A? I mean, should we have tried to make staking governance more serious? It takes more commitment. It takes more long-term focus. And if you have to break that or sell, you lose 8%. Because if the price of algo, like of the token, goes up, 25, 30% in a governance period, that outdoes the 4% yield or 3% yield that you're going to get on your algo. And so a lot of people in the institutional side, I'm sure, would be like, well, why don't we just like liquidate some of our position, because we're going to end up making more money than if we just hold and maintain the uncertainty of, will this price level be held or will this price level go down? So again, maybe we should have put the slashing mechanism in the first governance period.
For the record, I voted for slashing. Just saying. The what about the default, correlation, or not correlation, but delegating, right? Because a lot of us are going to be in some pools now that are essentially just delegating votes, and they're going to vote along with the foundation. Are we comfortable with that? What if that trend keeps going on? Like, that's by default, that's going to happen in some cases, right?
Well, I know, like, folks, you guys vote, and then you guys vote as a group. It doesn't just automatically go with the foundation. I think some others are doing that, but I know folks are doing that.
So we are doing for this round as the foundation suggests, because we don't have a decentralized voting system. So, but we will try to do for the next time, because we believe that is the right that our community express its vote. And for now, it's this way, but surely we want to listen to our community.
Benedetto, can I ask you a question? Sorry, Robot Uprising, you had a question?
A question for me, sorry?
Robot? No, he's not. Okay. Yeah, Benedetto, sorry, I had a question for you. Like, how do you deal with the one-to-one ratio for algo and G-algo? How do you plan to maintain it? And when everybody will go back to G-algo, how do you make sure that the price doesn't goes too high? Like, is there any system, or you will let the market decide?
So first of all, we let the user, when we use on the Oracle, we set the price of the G-algo for borrowing against it as the same as algo. So we are not considering the price that it has on the DEXs around. So anyone is free to really open a liquidity pool on the DEX and trade it and whatever they do. And it's kind of automatic that the trading around should be kept at the one-to-one value, also because we keep the minting active. So whenever you can go commit your algo and mint G-algo, even the commitment is going to close. So if you see an opportunity to leverage the gap that could be on a DEX, you can still go on Folks and mint one-to-one, and then the barn is one-to-one, and again the lending, the collateral, we do one-to-one. So this is the way we try to stabilize it. Then outside of us, we can keep the price really.
So you trust the arbitrage of the community, right?
But I mean, the purpose is that the user move it. The user do something with that. This gives value to the tokens, both to algo and to G-algo.
Yeah, that's true. So do you think the arbitrage can be strong enough to keep it like coherent and not go too far up or down?
And the one problem is that on algorithm we don't have that much of traders. I mean, on other chain there are bots that are working between DEXs in a crazy way, and also flash loans. So we are growing to this. I hope we will be there too soon. So I don't know how this will really be. But what I can tell you that we will try to keep from our side the best that we can. And the way that we can do is through the collateral at 1-to-1 and the minting and the burning. We can't promise nothing else outside of it.
Do you have any projections on what the TVL is going to be for G-Algo? How many people are going to use the service?
I don't know really, because honestly, I don't think just about folks. I hope that by the end of the commitment, all the protocols that leverage the governance would get, but right now I see it difficult. Honestly, I was thinking it would be better. At least 1/3 of the commitment of the total commitment on the algorithm governance, because I mean, let's talk about the big algo holders, because probably us here, we are the one that we use it more, like the protocols. But venture capital that they owns a lot of algo, they should take the risk in first, because they are investing in the app as well. So if they really want to see a growth of the ecosystem, or even what I also think, like if we will never scale up on DeFi Llama, we will not attract other users. And I'm talking about those users that I mentioned before, the traders over DeFi, the people that like these things, that they like to do this mechanism. Because DeFi is this, guys. It's arbitrage. It's trying to make revenue over several protocol movements, strategies, whatever. And we are lacking it. We need. That's why also we opened the G-Algo bullish bounty. It's because we really believe that we need to incentivize people to show to like the expert users, let's say, to show to the common users how they should do that. Because I think we lack it in the ecosystem.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's the name of that new service for lending the value of your NFTs and borrowing against it? Alandia?
Yeah, I have some NFTs on there right now. I have some pretty cool offers.
Can you tell us about that platform and if you like it and what your impressions are?
Yeah, it's essentially a way to leverage your NFTs. So, like, I know the guy that made it. His name is Justin, a really smart guy from the DJing community. He made it just to help make, NFTs a little more liquid and a way for you to, like, leverage them in a way. So I have, like, I put, like, all my expensive NFTs in a bundle not too long ago, like all my rare ones and more valuable ones. And yeah, I had some cool offers. I had some people that offered me like $2,000 or 2,000 algo for it for a 5% interest for a 90-day payback. So it's just like a way to, like, use your NFTs as collateral, and if someone finds them valuable, they'll make an offer for you for a loan program. And if you don't pay even by one payment, then all those NFTs go to the guy that loaned you the money. So it's just about, one man's trash is another man's treasure, that kind of thing. But I like it. I feel like maybe there could have been some better ways they could have done it. But I mean, it's just a really, really early iteration. They don't even have, just a community made contract that hasn't even been audited yet. So I imagine, he'll change it over time and make it better.
Cool. What about the Bitcoin Miami scene? Chris, you're down there. Benedetto, you're down there. Patrick, you're down there. What's it like down there? And what's going on with the, in the Algorand space relation to the rest of the crypto industry? How are things being perceived?
I go first. Okay, the Bitcoin conference overall itself, it's mostly centralized things, but it's a good point for attracting everyone. I mean, I didn't join there that much. I was just at the industry day, make some connection. But I really enjoyed. I loved the Algorand events. I think we are getting better and always a bigger family. Chris was there too, and it was very interesting. The Crypto Cabana, everyone was there, like so many founders, so many investors of the ecosystem, and even new phases that they are approaching. So this is good. And then there was the Borderless party, which was also cool. Yeah, so this morning I was in, there was something between Algorand and Emerge. So it was, I arrived late, but they were cleaning a park. So few events around, a lot of people are here from the ecosystem. It was great to meet all of them and connect with most of them for the first time after many calls.
Frequency party was fun.
Yeah, it was a great time. I think I agree with everything Benedict said. It's getting better. The community is growing. I bought a BTC 2022 ticket, and I never actually went. I was busy doing so many other things that there was really no time to go to the conference, so I didn't actually even see what it was like there. But
the exact same, Chris. I did the exact same thing. I bought a ticket, didn't even step foot there to even get a wristband.
That's a good waste of money.
It stinks. I feel bad wasting it, but you know, my thought of how much time I would have and the reality of how much time I had were very different.
I agree. I mean, like I was at events from 9 a.m. till 2 a.m. every single day while I was down there. And that's literally not an exaggeration. Anybody down there can attest to that. So there's lots of things going on in the crypto community. There's still a lot of excitement around it. I visited other communities. They're also growing. I went to the Solana hacker house, and they did really well. They rented an entire block. But they're all growing.
Solana Hacker House was really, honestly, that was impressive. When I went over there, I went a little bit early. It wasn't too crowded, but yeah, they had a lot of celebrities walking through, and they're
Did you meet Mike
attracting a
there?
different crowd. What's that?
Did you meet Multi-Chain Mike there?
Yeah, I saw him. Yeah.
I know yesterday there was a bomb alert, so it was closed yesterday.
Jeez.
And someone was joking. It was Algorand fake alarm.
Crazy.
And what about the European community? I think it's a bit slower in Europe, even though the Italian community of developers around Algorand are strong. But we now are growing the community with Thomas, Patrick, and yeah. Can you tell us more, Thomas, about how you are making your Nordic community grow?
What do you mean by it's not growing that fast? It's exploding.
That's a good news. Tell us more.
Well, you know, it's we are communicating to. I'm representing the Nordic region, and we decided to use English as a language right now for people who don't know the Nordic region. It consists of small countries like Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Iceland. And it is growing, but still we receive a lot of support of the existing community. But each and every day, new participants are arriving from the various countries here in the Nordic region, and I think they just need to learn how we communicate and how we interact with each other and who is what and what is going on, etc., etc. So it is very exciting. And Patrick, who is representing DAC, he's here as well, I think, is also doing tremendous job. And we are collaborating, backing each other. And right now, this morning we started to compete on who is doing the first European event, and obviously I will win that.
Hey, don't underestimate Patrick. He's been doing an amazing job since the very beginning, like
Yeah,
2 years. Like
yeah,
he is pretty awesome.
yeah. He was lucky. It's okay. And by the way, I'm staying
Which Patrick are we talking
together with
about?
him at a hotel in Paris 2 days from now. So I might shut up now, and then Patrick can take over.
That's so cool. Yeah, to answer Patrick, like the countries are, so Thomas is in Denmark, Patrick is in Austria. So Patrick is in charge with the community across Switzerland, Germany, Austria.
How many
And
distinguished Patricks? This is
yeah,
Patrick here, not
so many Patricks. Too many Patricks.
Yeah, too
No,
many
I'm kidding.
Patricks to go for the Patrick Algo address. So that's what the first thing I want to mention. Yeah, but this was this was common to get shorted here by Patrick. But yeah, there might be some alternatives waiting for me, waiting for this to be launched soon, Patrick. Second thing, yeah, Thomas, I'm happy to be second if it comes to nice events to be held in Europe, to be honest. A lot is going on, as Thomas already said. We are really working hard to get Paris rocking in the upcoming days. A lot of the people from the foundation are there. A lot of the community which are represented here. So Bilal, Thomas, and myself will be there. And yeah, a lot of things are going on in the background as well. So community here is being interlinked. So I'm representing the German-speaking region, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and the small country of Liechtenstein, of course, is also welcome. They are extremely bullish on crypto, and also in terms of legislative, they are doing a really nice job. Yeah, we are trying to connect. We are working with Doro to connect the universities here as well. So really trying to get a footprint here in basically every aspect. So working with universities, working with the local developers, with the events which are upcoming here in this region as well. So yeah, more than a lot to do here, but yeah, we will keep you posted. So the next event will be, speaking for my region, we will be represented also in Paris, but then there is the Formula E weekend in Berlin, which I can already announce, which will be also an Algo family event on the second weekend in May. I'll drop the news afterwards, but yeah, there will be definitely also side events there.
Yeah, I'm so excited to welcome Thomas, Patrick, and we also have Alexandre in Paris, leading the French community in Paris, and I took charge for the North African community and West African community too. So we're trying to put it more live events, so the people can meet more and more, and trying to build some accelerator programs in different cities, at least for me in Africa and Morocco. And yeah, let's now that COVID is past, we try to do the work live, which will be so exciting.
Yeah, but Bilal, one thing that I think we need to stress a little bit is that I mean, I'm very surprised about the amount of developers teams in this region. I mean, so a lot of them are obviously working on different protocols. Some of them have heard about Algorand, read about Algorand, or but when you spend like 2 minutes explaining what this is all about, they're blown away. And I can see, I've been reaching out to Chris and his crew for Reach, basically in my end, just explaining, listen, I mean, you can start developing fairly fast, and even though you are currently in a different protocol, by using Reach, you could, cross-chain if you want to, and people are very, very interested.
Oh, Chris, by the way, can you tell us more about this African, is it finished, like the whole accelerator program in Africa, or Bounty Hack, I think?
Yeah, we're about halfway through, I believe. The African bounty hack, we ended up getting, I believe, I don't want to get this wrong, but I think it was like 50 or 60 teams of people, developers building things, and we're about halfway through. We have the Australian one that's halfway through as well right now, and we have the women that code bounty hack that's starting up very soon. So we'll have 3 of them going on at one time right now, which is pretty nutty. And then of course we have the Reach summit itself is getting close to an end. So we have 4 programs right now going on right now, with developers learning how to build.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. Like 60 team, that's incredible. Like this is a lot of work in the background, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for those. And the thing I'm working with a bunch of people in the ecosystem is the what's next after doing this bounty hack where they're dipping their toes in, building something simple. We're thinking that of creating a new program that we're calling sort of like a fellowship, where we bring in like the top percentage and then actually have a fellowship program where they can then build things that are needed in the actual ecosystem. But and then when the fellowship is over, then the idea is that they graduate from the fellowship and then join one of the existing teams in the ecosystem, because everybody's hiring. So that's one of the programs that we're working on right now, is that that fellowship program that I'm really excited about.
And could you explain us the difference between like what's your preference to between a hackathon, a bounty program, and a fellowship program and accelerator? How would you define them and how would you value them? Chris?
Yeah, I was talking and you couldn't hear me. Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, your mic was off.
So what I'm saying is that I believe hackathons and bleeding edge technologies are close to worthless, because you spend most of your time just learning the technology and not anything actually building. And the final result is you building a pretty PowerPoint, and the best PowerPoint presentation wins, which I think is silly. So that's why we created the Bounty Hack program, which is a mixture of learning, which is a week-long boot camp, like just get you up and running so that you can actually start building things. And then we provide tasks. Say, okay, build these things. We know that this is actually doable, just to get you up and going. And at the very end, the top 3 who go above and beyond end up winning extra prize. The fellowship program will be picked for people that are already that have gone through a bounty hack, or have done stuff themselves, and it'd be it's like full-time positions that are meant to kind of like work with community members, work with people, and building real things, and to actually get even more experience than that's more of like a 6-month program. This is very, very alpha. Like, we're literally in the process right now of talking through exactly what this is. And then at the end of the 6-month program, then they'll graduate from the fellowship with the idea of, starting their own projects, or hopefully joining existing projects in the ecosystem.
Yeah, that is incredible. That's what I'm trying to build in Morocco, in Marrakesh. So I have a few partners there to work with, universities and incubators. And I would like to create this kind of environment that you're doing with Reach, like the hackathons, bounty hack, and fellowship programs. So that's why I'm asking it. So maybe I will need some help from the Reach team going forward.
Well, we're always here for you, Belal, and this goes to anybody. If we can help anybody, please just let me know.
I just did an interview with Nathan Kaiser, the appointed managing director of AlgoDAO, which is a launchpad coming out soon. You may have heard of it, but I just dropped a clip of that on my page. Just dropped the full interview. It's about 45 minutes on YouTube. If anyone's interested, it's a really interesting conversation. He's been around in crypto since 2011 in Hong Kong, involved in like the Bitcoin associations there, Ethereum pre-sale, like most blockchains. He had a say. He was involved in Cardano for a while as their chairman. So plugging myself, but it's a pretty cool conversation. So definitely go check that out. I'll drop the link up here. And that also, he's one of the people building from the DACH region. He's from Switzerland. Also, D-Fly is from Austria. So there's a good amount of talent coming out of that region right now, which is pretty cool.
I think Oyster is involved with AlgoDAO, right? Can you tell us more?
Yes, I'm 1,000%. Well, I'm only involved in just as a person, just nothing. I mean, I signed up as their ambassador program, but I am trying to promote it because, well, if you know me, you know why I'm trying to promote it. I think it's the next big thing to bring in high quality projects. And just to plug, tomorrow I have a Twitter space at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So I'm gonna be having some Twitter spaces on a more regular basis on AlgoDAO just to chat. There's a lot to learn on AlgoDAO. There's a lot of information to take in, but just to, I think fundamentally to understand the vision. So I'm looking forward to hear your interview with Nathan, Ibu. But it's I strongly recommend everybody to look into it. It's a game changer. It's a game changer. I mean, probably Ibu, since you just, I mean, if you have anything else to add to it, since you just.
Excuse me, Oyster.
Yeah.
Am I hearing some positive vibes from you right now?
Yeah.
Oh, holy fuck! What is going on here?
Something's going on.
Well,
that's so cool.
It's spring.
There's a lot of negative, you know, up until this point, there's a lot of like, you know, shit projects, but
no. My point here, I was just waiting for you to scream, "It's a scam!"
Yeah. No. Well. Yeah. AlgoDAO, and all the when I say the shit projects, all the DeFi projects, like, you know, that building the primitives, those are all fantastic projects, right? I totally, you know, you can follow my, you know, which projects I hate and which projects I love based on if you follow my Twitter feed. I love all the projects that building all the DeFi protocols, and but yeah, there's a lot of, hopefully with AlgoDAO and new launch pads coming, we'll drown out all the shit projects with the high quality projects. That's why I'm so bullish on AlgoDAO. And of course, the other one is Vertex. You know, Crypto Nerd has his initiative. So the more the merrier. The more with his Algo Fund and Centris partnership. So the more the merrier. We can get more quality control into Algorand. And ultimately, at the end of the day, right, we need high quality projects to attract liquidity and the big investors. So
yeah, and I enjoyed my chat with Nathan. He's very candid interview. A lot of cool information that he shared about the early days of crypto and being a lawyer, like how he was involved in helping exchanges like Binance and BitPay get spun up, like, you know, a decade ago. And in regards to AlgoDAO, it's definitely true that the Algorand ecosystem needs a launchpad, and they seem to be the furthest along in delivering that right now. So, you know, one thing I enjoyed about the interview is that if I asked him a question and he didn't know the answer, he wasn't trying to say that he knew the answer. He was like, this is a DAO. I am representing, like, as a front man and a face, but, you know, the engineers have their own team, the designers have their own team. They don't really come to me, and I'm not a CEO like calling shots. So, you know, in the spirit of decentralization, I thought that was kind of it was very open. It was very candid. So that's why, you know, it's a good interview. So if anyone has time, check out the clip or check it out on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, and just one last, I think this is important key information on AlgoDAO as a strong selling point. The main difference between, I mean, all these other launch pads are the more the merrier. But what's in my opinion, separates AlgoDAO is they are bringing in institutional investors from day one as part of their DAO. So what again is as what they call their vanguard, right? So institutional investors, VCs, which Algorand Foundation and Borders Capital, they're one of their main backers, and I'm assuming they're going to be on the vanguard. But what this means is, right, they will bring in the institutional capital and their network tapping their network of high quality projects across their global networks. This is why I'm really excited, and they're planning to launch later this month. So again, if you want to learn more, join me on my Twitter space tomorrow, or ping me offline.
Yeah, one cool thing about them is that, oh, sorry, Cody. They have this thing called the Sigma token, which is essentially, as described by Nathan, an ETF of the Algorand ecosystem based on the projects that have launched on their platform. So this is not really a new concept, but you have the AlgoDAO token, and if you stake the AlgoDAO token, you'll get rewarded with the Sigma token, which is the upside exposure to all their portfolio treasury projects. So I think that's just an interesting thing. And then when you cash out the Sigma token, you burn it. So I don't know, it just seems like an interesting system that I'm kind of excited to see, like, working in the wild.
Yep.
But just to change the subject a little bit, I did interview the people making the Cosmic Chance video game the other day. I'm actually pretty excited about that. Seems like a really fun game. And
yeah, I'm stoked about that one too. Bullish.
Yeah, the guy that's the head of the project, he's a gamer. Because I mean, I'm a gamer, and I had a lot of fun talking to him about games, balancing, and all this and that. And it sounds fun. Sounds like a fun game, and he's gonna have. It's just gonna the Champs is just the first of the Cosmic series, which he plans to add like a cosmic theme of a different type of game each time. This one's going to be an RTS, which stands for a real-time strategy game, similar to like Clash of Clans or StarCraft or Red Alert, if you guys played any of those games. And there's not many real-time games on blockchain, so this should be really fun. Most things are turn-based.
Yeah, speaking to them last Friday, it's very interesting. And the other one is Trantorian, which looks fantastic. So I'm excited about gaming coming to Algorand.
I mean, Game Jam Protocol's the real genuine gem right there. One day.
Alloy, right? Alloy is what it is now, huh?
Yep.
Alloy. All right. I'll have to remember the new name.
Yeah, it's we should be coming out of stealth shortly. We have 10 actual AAA and AA games under LOI at this point. When we come out of stealth, we'll make an announcement of all of them. But I think we're gonna be really, really excited about it.
You know me, Chris. I'm going to no life until I have another neck beard. Can't wait, man.
Chris, what's the update on the Humble redeploy?
Things are going well. I think last time we talked, I posed the question of like, do we get out right away or do we launch with V2? And we decided internally that we're going to wait a couple extra weeks and launch with V2. But everything's coming along pretty well. I was in Miami all last week, so I just got like surface level those updates, but everything sounds like it's going well. But as of ask me again tomorrow after I meet again with the team, have a deeper look into how everything is going. But so far so good.
That's awesome. I really like you guys are going that route because I feel like the automated market maker space is ripe for some great innovation in my opinion, and I'm really confident that you guys could do that. And especially I've talked to you about liquidity providing and market makers a lot. So I'm excited to see what interesting aspects you all implement on V2.
Yeah, V2, it's got some pretty cool stuff coming on. Honestly, what really excites me is derivatives like power perpetuals, options, futures, all of these other things that you can really, I think this is one of the main things that is missing in DeFi in general to bring the institutions in, because they need a way to hedge their bets. And so that's one thing I'm actually more excited about, is those things. And that's once we come out with V2, we're going to go ahead and make a big push in the derivatives direction.
Are you building it, Chris, or are you waiting for a team to do it?
What do you mean?
Like, are you adding it to HumbleSwap?
Yeah, I mean, it will be HumbleSwap, or I mean, it won't be HumbleSwap. So this is why we're Humble DeFi, is because there's gonna be multiple different features, but yeah, it's all part Humble.
Okay. Oh, wow. Because I've heard of another project doing it, building right now, and yeah, it sounds very interesting, like futures and puts and calls, etc. That sounds like a good development.
Yeah. This has actually been our main focus from the very beginning. Is you got to get out a good foundation. But yeah, I think they're going really well.
Are you guys using like the Teal 5 or the Teal 6 contracts to build V2?
We always use the most up to date Teal contract, Teal stuff.
Yo, what's going on with Yieldly these days? I feel like I've heard absolutely nothing from them besides the token burn, which, was kind of like a pretty lame event. But yeah, what the hell is going on with Yieldly?
When I was talking to the Cosmic Chance people, they're actually partnered with them, and they're going to be one of their first partners launch on their launch pad. So I assume the launch pad is coming soon. Not sure what that's all going to entail, and if they're going to have their, if we're going to use Yieldly or iYieldly for the launch pad. I'm not sure exactly what's going to go on there, but I really haven't heard too much from them. And to be honest, I'm keeping up with, in my opinion, more interesting projects in my mind right now, because I mean, there's just so much going on in space.
I can't confirm that Yieldly is working on a boatload of stuff, but they have been burning themselves by announcing the announcement too many times, and so this time they decided, hey, we're just going to fly under the radar and then drop some shit. So hopefully they can come through with that. But I've had conversations that it seems like they're working furiously on the back end. So we'll see if they make instead of announcements, just some surprise, test nets.
Yeah, but they announced yesterday or 2 days ago or something that they were about to launch a launch pad. Is that correct?
They've got a launch pad in the works, yeah. And he's right. Cosmic Champs is working with them, so we'll see how that goes.
Wow. So at the end of the day, we will end up having more launch pads than we have projects. That is strange.
It seems like a lot of projects are like developed only for like internal customers. Like if you're already in the ecosystem already, there's a lot of projects that we're excited about, like, swaps and DeFi and launch pads. I'm excited once we get past this, like build up a bunch of infrastructure projects, to how do we get small businesses to use Algorand on a daily basis, and just started converting just traditional businesses over to Algorand. When that stage comes, I'll be super excited.
And this launchpad game, like you said, like you're saying, that we're going to have a lot of launch pads. And I mean, with most new DeFi platforms, like if you look at BSC when their DeFi exploded, or Solana, like launch pads just start flying up like the woodwork. And I'm just going to tell everyone, make sure you do your due diligence before investing into just any old launch pad, I would say, guys, because like I said, there's going to be a lot of them pretty soon. And yeah, it's just going to be a lot of them. It's going to get really saturated really fast.
Do we have any comment or questions from the audience? Like any other subject you think it's interesting to bring up?
I have one. I mean, I'm sure people seeing this. Verdex launched their AMM on testnet, and it uses a different algorithm. I forget what they model against, but basically you can choose when you provide liquidity which price range, right? So they limit to minimize impermanent loss and to make it more capital efficient. So if folks haven't checked it out yet, it's pretty cool. I mean, Vertex is one of my other favorite projects that'll be launching. And they also have a launch pad as well. So just want to get the word out there. Go check it out.
There are so many projects right now, especially in the DeFi space. I don't even know how you keep up with all the launch, Monty. Like, how do you? I think with Citrus, you're trying to keep up with it. Can you tell us more about the number, or we can't even map them in one picture, right?
Yeah, I've lost track, man. Like it's so hard to keep track of what's going on and who's doing what. Somebody asked me about a project yesterday, and I was like, literally, like I have no idea who is that. I'm taking notes.
Yeah, and I'll just plug one more project that I like is the Element DeFi. They're building a new novel stable coin platform. It's a team out of India that's building it, and they'll be supporting initially the U.S. dollar stablecoin and the Indian rupee. But they've also have a whole built. It's very very intriguing platform. They will also have a whole built-in DeFi suite on top, integrated with their stablecoin platform. So it's another one that's pretty cool to keep an eye on. It's out on testnet. It's been on testnet for a while.
Does anybody know about Deco? They got a grant like last week, I think, and it's a crowdfunding platform, not necessarily a launch pad, but it might be like sort of a equivalent of that. I assume it's going to be something like a Republic or a Kickstarter or something similar. But like that's a project that came out of the blue, was not on my radar at all. DECHO, go check it out.
And one last thing I want to add: has anyone looked at the APY on PactFi? Like, that's some pretty juicy stuff, and the fact that they're giving that entire rewards program out in 2 months, which is some pretty fat APY, if you ask me.
What's it looking like right now? What's that APY?
Well, let's take a look here. Algo USDC is at 88.5%.
Wow.
Algo Go PTC is 103%. Algo Go ETH is 123%. Algo Go Mint is 118%.
Wow.
The USDC pool is 59%. Our USDC Opal's 238% right now.
That is very aggressive. I like how now the DeFi, it's like a war of the DeFi protocols. It's very aggressive. I will check it right now.
Yeah, it's the war of who can pull the degens.
Yeah, I mean those rates obviously aren't. They're depends how many people participate, but they're tremendous right now. Yeah, tremendous high APRs. But expect them to go down, just like we know, as more people learn about them.
Yeah, but like still the period they're giving them out, like they're giving away.
Oh no, yeah, it's still great.
Over 1 million in 2 months. Like that's more than every protocol right now.
How much?
1 million algo in 2 months.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I mean just like the governance APR, right? As more people participate, your APRs will go down, but still very attractive. It'll still be very attractive.
It's a good way to keep up with the TVL from like compared to other DeFi platforms. It's a great way to attract people. Like that sounds very attractive.
Yeah, but most of these platforms do stuff like this too. Like Polygon prints for their users a lot too. So it's just really good to see it on Algorand now and just see like the multiple ways of making different yield on here now instead of just like it was like 2 years for me stake. That's it.
And I believe also AlgoMint is adding some they're stacking some of their rewards on top of the Ionis rewards in Pact as well for for their assets, for GoMint, GoBTC, GoETH, obviously.
Yeah, and then plus you could use their platform and kind of like go buy some ETH, move it on the bridge, earn some TVL that way, and then stake it on there. So yeah, there's a lot of cool strategies you could do on there right now.
Wow. Do you have other comments from the audience or questions or anything? Because I think we covered a lot of things today. No?
I think we're good. I mean, we had some heated debates today, but I mean that's part of AlgoFam.
Yeah. No, it wasn't so heated. It was just like precise. I liked it. Like the question about the governance and the TVL, the velocity. That was very interesting, actually.
Well, I mean, it's good that we're asking questions like that, and and we're because I mean, like this ain't perfect, and anything could be improved. Is what I always say.
Yeah, we just need to have Chris telling us more about what he's cooking for us. Yeah, Chris. We will try to make you speak.
You know that I drop up as much as I possibly can.
Yeah. Okay, guys, should we wrap up and talk again next weekend and see how we did with the governance?
Yeah, sounds like a plan, man.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, my friends, and check the video of Ibu and the interview with Cody and obviously Monty, GT. Everybody's doing so much now. It's incredible. Like, it's incredible. We're doing an amazing job, and it's just the beginning. Thank you so much, my friends. Take care, and I can't wait to see Patrick and Thomas in Paris in 3 days. Yeah, I will show you my hometown. I'm so excited, my friends.
Hell yeah. But so be concerned. Be concerned.
Oh yeah. Oh, we are not sleeping. I'm telling you, like Paris NFT Day, Paris Blockchain Week Summit, the Coinbase party. Wow, and the gallery also, like the NFT gallery. Wow, there's so much going on. Like, I'm so excited.
We will be posting NFTs of you.
We will be filming everything live.
Have a nice evening, guys.
See you soon, my friend. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, everyone.
Sounds great.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.